Okay, so we start the class today, and as I always do in every class, let us do a quick recap of what we have done till now. We started by understanding what is marketing, the basic, what is the definition of marketing. We went ahead, we understood the journey, how marketing shaped up, what it was, and then how it went through different phases and is still undergoing different phases. Then we understood the macro and the micro environment. We went ahead and we understood segmentation, targeting, and positioning. And then we realized that, hey, we still can't make the right product, price, place, promotion because we don't understand the needs of the customer. So how will we meet those needs profitably? And therefore, we tried understanding the needs of the customer first by understanding perception and then by understanding learning so that we can teach our consumer or we can help them understand our product, brand, or service. But when you're trying to understand the needs of not just the consumer, the need of anyone, motivation plays a huge role. I know you have done motivation in a lot of classes, and therefore I'm not going to go into the details of motivation. We will only see its practical implication and how we implement it in marketing. Also, I'm not going to do a lot of theories of motivation. There are so many theories of motivation. I will deal with only 2 theories. Why? Because it is more important for me that let it be only 2 theories, but you understand them well. Understand them well so that you know how to apply it in the field of marketing. But before I begin the question, what is motivation? What do you think is motivation? And anyone who would like to most probably contribute, or will it be just me who will keep speaking?
Yes.
Yes, please shoot.
Shreya, you go first.
Okay, so motivation for me is like an inner feeling or inner turmoil to show something that you can do this and achieve something. So that zeal to do something, I think that is motivation.
Okay, so I like the zeal to do something. Okay, you wanted to say something, Aditya?
Yes, ma'am. Motivation, from what I understand, is the internal or external factors which basically boost the morale of a person to do something.
Okay, great, fantastic. Anyone else? Anyone else? So, if there's no one else, I'll go ahead with the definitions given by Shreya and Aditya. And yes, you're both right. It is that zeal. It is so. Let me define it in a different way. In this context, intentions. What do you mean by in this context intentions, Tanishq? I did not get it. I mean, if you could most probably elaborate. So till Tanishq elaborates, let me put it, most probably just reword the entire thing. And when I look at motivation, I find motivation is so necessary, so important in every phase of life. You don't need motivation just to conquer Mount Everest and reach reach Mount Everest, or to go on Mars and Moon. You need motivation even to get up in the morning. You need motivation to get up, get ready, come for the class or come for work. Motivation is such an integral part of life. For every action that we do, that we take, I mean, if we are not motivated, then we will not put in our best. And wherever you differ, let me know. So it's only when I'm motivated to achieve something. Yes, Harshit. It's only then that I will take action, as Harshit has put in the chat box. If I'm not motivated, I will not take the required action. So if I'm not motivated, I might just come to work because I have to come to work, but I will not take those actions to give my best possible. Now, how does it apply to marketing? Well, if the consumer is not motivated, he will not buy your product, brand, or service. So unless and until your product, brand, or service is his goal, he will not take any effort to reach that goal. If you want your, so you may make the best advertisements, you may have the best product, you may think that you have priced it absolutely correct, your distribution network may be perfect, and yet you may find that the consumer is not buying because your product, brand, or service is not his goal, and therefore he's not taking any effort to know more about it or to buy it. And therefore, before we do anything, it is so important that we motivate our customer, that we help our customer understand that, hey, listen, this product, brand, or service can be your goal. It's worth becoming your goal. And please make some effort, take some effort in order to buy this product, brand, or service. And in order to motivate consumer, we need to understand the theories of motivation. At any place, if you don't understand or you want to contribute, just unmute yourself and go ahead. Now, when I'm talking about theories of motivation, I'm absolutely aware that you people most probably have done so many theories of motivation, but I am only going to do two. No, I'm not going to do all of them. I'm only going to do two with you, and that too, how we implement it, how they are useful for us in marketing. So let me start with the age-old theory of hierarchy of needs by Maslow. The spelling is wrong, the physiological, but that's okay. So, I mean, I will not get into the details of this theory because all of you know it. If there's anyone who doesn't know it, please stop me now so that I can explain this theory to you. If you don't stop me, I will assume that you know it. Okay? So this theory, as you know, I mean, it says that we move on from one step to another and so on and so forth. And he said, and it says the first is the basic needs. Unless and until the basic needs of your consumer are not satisfied, it's first our basic needs. Unless and until our basic needs are not satisfied, we do not talk about safety and security. For me to talk about safety and security, first my basic needs need to be taken care of. And therefore, if my basic needs, and this I'm talking about real life, are not taken care of, and you talk to me about esteem and social needs, I'm not interested. Right? So marketing implication, we need to understand at which phase, at which stage is our consumer. Which brings me back to segmentation, targeting, and positioning. Are you clear about your segment? Do you understand your segment? Because if you do not understand your segment, you will not understand at what level of needs is your consumer based. So let me show you by an example. Let me share with you a video of a government school in India. And this has been shot by some foreigner. So I won't show you the whole video. It's a long video, but just a little bit.
Bye-bye. Hello, guys. Say hi. Hello.
Look at the consumer. Please understand the segment of the consumer because I'm going to discuss them in detail.
Who is your favorite teacher? This man or this man? Who is your favorite teacher? Favorite teacher. Yeah. Favorite class teacher? No. No. System, no. You have to be all-rounder. I've been all-rounder. You have to know everything. It is like counting 1 to 10. We just sing, we just won't be singing. This is how come students. Yeah. First grade.
So let me come back to you And lettuce. So you saw, so I'm talking about the government schools, and this is just one of the many government schools that we have in our country. And this video has been shared by someone who visited our country and is showing the consumers, if I may call them that, the students. All of them, you could see the happiness. They're all happy. It's like there's a lot of energy happening out on that campus. But if I have to describe the segment of consumer just by this video, then the segment of consumer, the section to which these children, they come from most probably families which are in a lower socioeconomic bracket. And if they are in the lower socioeconomic bracket, then I'm talking about, so we are talking, they're still in the basic needs, right? So they are still most probably struggling for, what are basic needs? Roti, kapda or makan. They are most probably still struggling for that. And that was a problem that initially the government of our country faced long back when this socioeconomic segment was not ready to send their children to school. Or even if they sent their children to school, after a certain time, they used to ask them to stop going to school. Why? Because you need to understand that they were still in the basic needs. They were still struggling for the roti, kapda or makan. And at that point of time, when the government told them that, hey, send your child to school to study, it didn't make sense for them, because sending a child to school for them meant more expenditure. They would have to buy uniforms, they would have to buy books for them. A child needs to take food when he or she is going to school, and most probably there would be fees also, so on and so forth. And therefore, they did not see any sense in incurring this expenditure, and they weren't really. And then when somebody told them, you know what, when this child will study, then 10 years from now, or 15 years from now, your life will change. Who has seen 15 years? They were struggling on a daily basis, and someone is talking to them about 15 years from then. The government had to find a solution. And so how did the government find this solution? I'm not sure how many of you are aware of this, but this is how the government found a solution.
Success doesn't have to mean getting the corner
Let me
office.
just skip this. And
It isn't always.
yeah.
All right, so they're now preparing the food that they're going to give to the students at 2 o'clock. And these are the
So the government said that, hey, you don't need to bother about anything. We will provide them midday meals. The government said, don't bother about books and uniform, because we will give them free. But please send your child to school.
Master Chef.
So,
Namaste. Do a good job, because I'm going to eat too.
and again, I'm not showing you the whole video, but
I don't need special, don't worry, don't worry. It's very spontaneous, but there's a lot of flavor here.
You look like that.
It's a lot of flavor.
Yeah, but you look like that.
A lot of flavor.
so basically what the government did was that they started the concept. Oh my God, wait 1 minute. Yeah, the government started the concept of midday meals, providing free books, providing free uniform, because it was important for us to understand that when they are still struggling with the basic need at that point of time, talking to them about how the future of the child will change 15 years of now does not make sense. Did it help? Yes, it helped. It helped because today there are so many children who are going to school. Today, you don't have to convince the parents to send them to school. Today, those parents are eager to send their children to school. And I think all of you will somewhere agree with me. So whether it's the guard who's working here, or whether it's that maid who's working in your house. Today, you and I, we don't need to tell them, hey, send your child to school. In fact, they ask, Didi, is the school mein dalna hai, ab kya karu? Because once the children started going to school, they saw the difference. They saw the advantages. Yes, there is still a long road to cover, but the journey has started. And these government schools, some of them are doing exceptionally well. I mean, you have toppers coming out of those schools. Similarly, the other needs. I mean, I don't think you would need examples for social and esteem. There's just too many, and not. But for me, the other ones are more important. Safety and security. When you're talking about safety and security, so what product comes under this? Insurance. I mean, the product which just comes into my mind immediately is insurance, because that helps you to take care of your family. Be it life insurance, be it health insurance, be it insurance of your house or whatever. But that product comes here. And that's how insurance companies sell their product also. They talk about how if you take insurance, then you can be assured that expenditures will be taken care of, your family will be taken care of, your medical bills will be taken care of, and maybe so. Again, something which, yeah. So, I mean, again, as I said, so when we talk about safety security, this is a product which immediately comes to mind. And similarly, you can, so what's important is to understand that in which segment, in which class does your consumer belong to? So your product, brand, or service, I mean, if your segment belongs, the needs are, they have hit the social level and you still talk about the basic needs, then you are not communicating with them. They do not understand what you are speaking. They do not identify with your product, brand, or service, and therefore they will not buy, because never ever forget that we never buy a product, brand, or service. We are always buying an image. An image that we identify with, or maybe an image that we aspire to be. So if your image is not correct, your consumer will not identify with you. And how do you make a correct image? By understanding his motivation, by understanding how to motivate him. In which stage is your consumer? Is he in the basic stage, or is he in the safety stage, or is he in the social stage? Because that's how then you will create your image. While this is the first theory that I wanted to talk about, the second theory that I wanted to talk about was the need acquired theory. Now, what is this theory? This theory is, it says that all of us, you, me, we all have three kinds of needs: the need for achievement, need for affiliation, and need for power. Well, if all of us have three kinds of needs and all of us should be similar, then why aren't we similar? We are not similar because we may have three kinds of needs. However, the percentage may be different in different people. So while in someone, the need for power may be more dominating, in someone else, the need for affiliation may be more dominating, or in someone else, the need for achievement may be more dominating, and that makes us different people. But what are these needs? So let's first understand need for affiliation. Well, as the name says, it identifies those people who like to be associated with something. They like to be associated with groups, they like to be associated with friends, they like to be associated. They like being with others. They like being identified as a part of something. Right? So if you've seen, that's why, I mean, so there are companies which announce, congratulations, the number of consumers have grown so much, congratulations, you are now part of our family. That's so targeted to need for affiliation. I mean, one of the biggest blockbusters in the last 2 decades, Facebook, or now Instagram, and so on. What are this? This is need for affiliation. Why are you on Instagram, or why are you on those on such similar social media platforms? Because you want to be associated. You need to be those people who are extremely active over there. You want to be, you are identified with something, and that is why those likes and dislikes and those comments become so important in your life. So need for affiliation. Have companies used it? Of course. I mean, I just gave you example of the blockbusters of our time, but let me also give you from the Indian context an ad which puts it so beautifully and uses it in the correct manner. So, yeah.
यारी बुला रही है, दिखा रही है। जवां स्टाइल और दिलदार माइलेज के साथ आ गया नया हीरो होंडा स्प्लेंडर NXG। यारी बुला रही है, कुछ तो बता रही है। यूं चलते हम जो बिछड़े तो ये हमारी मिला रही है, यारी बुला रही है, यारी बुला रही है। ताकि यारी की मस्ती चलती रहे और जितनी दूर यारी जाए उतनी दूर ये गाड़ी जाए। हीरो होंडा स्प्लेंडर NXG, यारी की गाड़ी। हीरो होंडा, धक धक गो।
So an ad which very beautifully talks about friendship and shows you, yeah. So it talks about friendship and, you know, the group, the being together. What is it? It's need for affiliation. On the other hand, what is need for power and what is need for achievement? So there's a very thin difference between need for power and achievement. The need for power are those people who want to lead the way. And they don't just want to lead the way, they also want to be acknowledged for it and they want to be appreciated for it. So this is not a leader who will just do the work and it's okay whether you appreciate or not. No, they want to be recognized for it. On the other hand, what is need for achievement? Need for achievement are those people who are ready to take a risk. So, but they are not gamblers. Please understand. So if you will tell a person who has high need for achievement that please do this job, this has 0%, you know, the world is saying that it has 0% chances of success, he will not do it. Or if you will say, do this, this is 100% chances of success, then also he will not do it. He does when you tell him that this has 50% chances of success or failure, because that's where the adventure is. That's where the challenge is. That's where he or she can prove himself or herself. And these people, therefore, they do things because they believe in it. And they're not really bothered with what the others say about them. So they have, what is more important for them is their own belief that, yes, I can do this or I should do this. And for this, they are ready to go on a different path if need be. Okay, so while I showed you one ad of a bike is a bike is a bike. I showed you one ad of a bike which talks about need for affiliation, which is talking about friendship, which is talking about people together, having fun. Let me show you ad of another bike which talks about, which shows that how he or she doesn't care and is ready to go on a path not taken by other people or other normal or ordinary people. You can see that we are talking about two different segments. So let me show you that ad before I discuss it further. It's a very old ad and I'll show you the new one also later then.
I forgive my father.
Did you listen to the sentence? I forgive my father. I mean, who is he to forgive here? But just see the audacity. Listen to the dialogues.
I forgive women. I forgive my boss.
I forgive my past. I mean, just listen to the dialogues and the.
I forgive the government. I forgive my Baba. I forgive my past. I forgive them all. I feel like God. Bajaj Avenger DTSI.
What a powerful statement. Feel like God. But you can see how different this ad is from the one which I showed you earlier. I mean, these are two absolutely different people, absolutely different segments. And this is a very, very old ad. This is the ad which I think Bajaj launched almost 10, 15 years ago. But they have kept the same message. And let me show you their recent ad, which I really like. They have kept that same message. They have identified themselves with the same segment of consumer, and yet they have changed, because change is the only constant thing in the world. And if you want your product, brand, or service to be successful, to be there for not just for 1 or 2 years, but for a longer period of time, you need to change with times. So let me also show their recent ad. This is, I think, a year old or 2 years old.
Today she can make friends with who she wants. Today she expresses herself the way she wants. Today she does whatever she wants. Today she wears whatever she wants. Today she goes wherever she wants.
So yes, I mean, did you see this ad. Again, they have kept the same thing, but yet how they have changed with the times. And a beautiful ad where I don't know if you noticed the background music. It was Raghupati Raghav, Raja Ram, which started coming, which was Gandhiji's one of the favorite bhajans. But I hope you can see the difference. You can see the different segment, which is buying the Splendor compared to the segment, which is most probably buying Avenger, because their needs are different. Therefore, they are going to be motivated by different communication. The communication which motivates the buyer of Splendor cannot be the communication that image cannot motivate the buyer of Avenger. He will not identify with that image, and if he cannot identify with that image, he will not be motivated to buy it, right? So the two theories that we discussed today. One, Maslow's, which I think you've been doing for a long time, and the second one, the needs theory. At this point of time, let me come back to the class and ask, have you understood, or do I need to repeat or something, or clarify some doubt? Have you in the whole storyboard understood how motivation fits in with perception, how it fits in with learning, and finally, how it helps us to identify our segment and therefore do the right targeting and positioning? Is the storyline, are you able to follow the storyline? Are you able to understand that how all these things, they are not compartments. These are all the different parts of that jigsaw puzzle, but are you now able to form at least a part of that jigsaw puzzle? Anyone? Anyone? Or do I keep talking to circles? Rohit, I did not understand. What did you, was intentionally coined to go against? Yeah, fair enough, Rohit. But feel like absolutely fair enough. And I mean, you cannot ignore competition at all. But it worked beautifully for them. I mean, they created a good image for themselves. And when you say that they intentionally coined, go back to macro and micro environment, competitors. Competitors are part, I mean, there is no business if there is no competitor. So they did what their macro or micro environment asked them to do. They did it well, and that image has helped them a lot. I mean, that image has going on with them for now 10, 15 years. Thanks for contributing, Rohit. Anyone else? Have you understood what we are talking about, what we spoke about today? Have you understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thanks for that confirmation. At this point, I will end this topic.